Special Forces World's Toughest Test is unlike any unscripted competition you've seen. What began as 16 celebrities taking on some of the most physically, mentally, and emotionally demanding training exercises to see if they have what it takes to join the Special Forces.
Among those fearless stars still standing is former White House Communications Director and founder of Skybridge Capital, Anthony Scaramucci, who has outlasted a lot of younger folks with those guns that he's got on him. Mooch, one of my all-time favorite guests. Great to see you.
Well, it's great to be on with you guys, but I was, I'm just telling you, I thought my agent was going to get me like a Centrum plus 55 vitamin commercial after all that. It was absolutely brutal. And, look, I just turned 59. So when we were doing that, I was 58 years old. And I don't even know how I got through it, Alex or Marla. I'm just telling you, I was just in a panic. Gus Kenworthy, the Olympic skier, I was coming off the tower last week. And he looks over at Mike Piazza. He says, this guy's like short and a little stubby, and he's almost 60 years old. He's crazy to be out here.
Well, why did you want to do this?
Well, listen, as you know, I'm a big supporter of the troops and the American military. I've been to Iraq and Afghanistan on troop support missions, in 2011 and 15. And when my agent said, this is something you could do, Alex, I can't sing. So the masked singer wasn't an option. But living in the desert with 16 celebrities on a green military issued cot with no plumbing and running water, that seemed like something I could probably do. So I wanted to give it a try. But I was frightened. I don't want anybody to think that that was easy. We talk about being on Special Forces. I have so much respect for these men and women that are actually out there doing this stuff. We were in a tent. They did simulate it. It was 110 degrees in that tent when we were trying to sleep. But just imagine being in Special Forces 12 months out and deployed somewhere in a forward operating base, living in conditions like that, or doing some of the things that they're asked to do all day.
Yeah, and staff, not nice. And that is absolutely by design. And you handle everyone so well. It's no secret. This is my favorite show right now. And keep in mind, we don't know how much longer you last, or maybe you last the whole time. I hope you do. I'm proud.
I can't give you the spoiler. I can't give you the spoiler alert, but I will say this because they show it. I get set on fire, but as they're lighting me up, I think you guys will appreciate this. I looked at the camera and said, I've been fired before, but never like this. This is a new sort of firing, okay? But it was hot. When they set you on fire and you're in the suit, you're like thinking, all right, this shouldn't be a problem, but it does feel hot. You're getting, and they screaming at you. They're trying to make you fearful. And I think one of the biggest parts of this show is not just the physical challenge, but it's the mental stuff. Frankly, I failed the Jeep. I had the courage to get in the Jeep. They sunk me in the port in the Gulf of Aqaba, and you have to control your breathing, stay down there with the seatbelt on for at least 60 seconds. I think I left the Jeep after 18 seconds. So, some of these things I couldn't do. Other things like running out of a house on fire and putting myself out of fire, I was able to do that. But it's a very tough show. Well, very physically demanding.
To your point, these tasks, it doesn't matter. They tell you if you pass or fail. In the end, it's just about carrying on, right? And your mental fortitude.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Exactly right. So, yeah, Marla, that's exactly right.
What have you learned about yourself being on the show?
Well, I've said this to people. I've learned I'm definitely not a Special Forces person. It takes way more in stamina and a lot more youthfulness, frankly. But I have learned, I think this is something for your viewers to really think about. You can do more. You can push yourself. Marla, when I started the show and I filled out the application, I said I was afraid of heights. These guys put me in every terrible situation, jumping off a 600-foot tower, traversing a 300-foot ravine. They had me do a controlled vertical drop on one show. I banged my head. We were 150 feet in the air. And guess what? I am afraid of heights, but I was able to control that. And so I guess my message to viewers, think about yourself, push yourself. You can do way more than you think. And I think that's one of the great benefits of being on the show.
Well, Mooch, you know me. I can't let you be on and not at least get one political question in. So.
Anything you want. Alex, I'm an open book. Anything
I know,
you want.
that's why you're the best guest. So we know Nikki Haley apparently is going to be getting into the 2024 race. Donald Trump, your old boss, is already in the race. Who knows what Ron DeSantis is going to do? Joe Biden says he's going to make his announcement after the State of the Union, which is next week. What do you make of the 2024 race right now, and who do you think is the favorite?
Well, listen, obviously I have my issues with President Trump, which I've made known very publicly. Unfortunately for the Republican Party, he still has a stronghold on the party. And so it's very likely that he'll get that nomination because his base is a sturdy base. It's not that malleable. I have an enormous amount of respect for Governor Haley. My wife, Deirdre, and I took her out to dinner about a year ago with her husband. They're great people. She's a great American. She would be a great president. DeSantis is also a very popular figure in the Republican Party. Mike Pompeo, I know, is running. I think Mike Pence, Vice President Pence, will be running. But it's going to be very tough to beat Donald Trump. He's a beast on the debate stage. And he has a way of demeaning people, and politicians, for whatever reason, they can't handle that from him. New Yorkers can handle it. I have all kinds of nicknames for Trump, which is why he stopped the Twitter fight with me. He didn't like some of the stuff I was saying about him,
All right. Well, you can see more of Anthony Scaramucci on Special Forces World's Toughest Test, which airs Wednesdays at 9 p.m., which is tonight, right here on Fox.